Okay, so this is something that's been bothering me for a while. Um, I'm going to do a debunk on anti-vaccine conspiracy. So, here's the deal: is there's multiple different things I want to go through this, but I had made friends with somebody. I'll start off with here, a fellow YouTuber who I thought we had some things in common. He's on the left-hand path, and we shared some opinions. Well, up until a certain recent point, I had put up my get your COVID shot video, and yeah, so apparently he's anti-vaccine. So I'm covering his name because this video is not about humiliating one person as it is discussing the problem with the idea, because this isn't just his idea. This is a problem with a lot of people across the, not just in America, but in other countries as well. So he responded to me. This is in private, which is another reason I'm keeping this private to that degree. I'm not revealing his name. But the authorities like your video and not mine. You and the authorities are singing the same song. I think he said Jags. I think it meant Jabs. I've seen it spelled Jabs. They took my do not take the COVID jab down in just 5 minutes and gave me a strike too, but allowed your COVID jab up. Factually speaking, YouTube allows your video and not mine. So, yeah, and there's a reason for that. That's because non-vaccination is misinformation. Like, you need to get your vaccine. I'll go into details here in a little bit. But I tried to, use a street epistemology on him to a degree. Now, these are just screenshots because I had this pre-planned. But I asked him where he got the information from. And he said that, he said you have probably been brainwashed to use mostly YouTube and Google. That just happens to be a convenient source that I use. It's nothing about being brainwashed. But he said, get off them and begin to do independent research on other platforms like BitChute, Brand New Tube, and some other stuff. I really wasn't familiar with this. My friend explained to me what some of these were. He said, you will find much more balanced data on these platforms. Well, that's wrong, and I'll explain why here in a minute. He says, do not watch any mainstream media. If you must watch media, this is a red flag right here, then to try Fox News and Newsmax. I don't know anything about Newsmax, but I know for a fact Fox News is not good news. They deliberately misinform. I don't know why he's out of focus. Here we go. And they claim entertainment when pressed on lawsuits. So, yeah, Fox News is not good. So that's definitely a red flag. He said, I believe most people are brainwashed by mainstream media. YouTube and Google are owned by the same company and keep same principles. He says, fuck the orthodox, hell the rebels. Now, right now, he's thinking that, the way he's putting this, he thinks that Fox News is rebel, I guess. And it's just misinformation. So, let me see here. Yeah, I tried to get more information out of him. I asked him to send me links. And he said, bro, in my humble opinion, you're years behind and out of date with research. You used the right language but appear to know nothing about the research on alternative platforms. By alternative, he just means, we have liberal and conservative. So I watch shows like David Pakman. If I watch anything related to government, it's usually like David Pakman kind of deal, where he's on conservative, which is where Fox is. I will go over those definitions here in just a second to be clear. But yes, he is on the far right as it is, the far conservative side. He said, as you say, Lucifer guided you to take a stance, the stance you took. And I'd say yes. You don't have to be, you can be an atheist, whatever, but it is, it is better to stand for the side of science. I can understand people having difficulty trusting in government for reasons because, government's done some bad things. But nobody wins if everybody's dead. So getting the vaccine is, if it was to kill you, then nobody would survive. The problem is no one's the people who aren't getting it are letting it mutate it. But now I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on. So, he said, you and Lucifer are not the same. Your Lucifer and my Lucifer are not the same. This would be, what is it called when it happens with Christianity? True Scotsman is what it is. So, I'm not going to go into that. You can look up what True Scotsman means. But, you follow the advice of Tila, who I think is retarded. So, now that last part was just, being mean. I don't think he really knows anything about Tila. And she's a YouTuber, and I have respect for her. I've paid for a couple of different, even if it's not your thing. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like, I have respect for her. So, okay, I think the name got uncovered for a second, but it doesn't matter because nobody really knows what YouTube channel it is. I'll try not to show it again. But yeah, no one knows who that is. So it's not a big deal. So anyhow, I try to get more information. Yeah, there's his name. I'm terrible with this. But anyhow, let's see here. I try to get more information out of him. And he just refused to respond. He said, please don't write to me again. All the best in your life. Goodbye. So, that was sad, and I did respect to that point. Like, there was no point in me pestering him further. So, I want to go with the definition. I said earlier that I'm on the liberal side. So, we want to look at the definition of what liberal means to make sure we're clear. Willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from one's own, and open to new ideas. So I'm willing to listen, but you gotta, present good evidence. He didn't present anything but just conspiracy theories with no real data behind it. But I'm open to new ideas in the sense of, like, when it comes to, like, vaccines, technology. Science is, in essence, following the ideas of science is being open to new ideas, because we're always inventing things and trying to test it out and see if it works. Vaccines were once considered a new idea. So, okay. And now we got conservative. So this is the side that he's on. Adverse to change or innovation in holding traditional values. Now, I want you to remember this for a minute, because we're going to go back to this very soon. So, okay. Now, I'm going to show you what conservative looks like. And there's some irony behind this.
This is a problem. This is the reason why, at least one of many, there's misinformation and anti-vaccine. Okay.
Alright, I'm going to pause this here. I took this video myself earlier today. And this is of a Catholic church. And it's saying it's not the mask or the shot keeping us alive. It's Almighty God. And this was such a facepalm. I originally seen this last night when I was walking to the gas station. And sure enough, I saw that, and I'm like, I have to come back and take a picture of this. This shit doesn't write itself. So this is what they're preaching. This is the definition of conservative. What else never changes? The Bible. So these people are preaching, the same kind of BS. Now, that doesn't mean that every Christian is against the shot, nor does that mean, it's not a religious thing, but it does prove of the definition of conservative is against any kind of change. You know, and with the church, it's telling you to, it's against innovation. Yeah, there you go. Against change. And holding on to, like, faith healing rather than trusting in science. So, that's a pretty big problem. I have a side video. Now, I'm going to add the clip to this. This is not mine. I will show where I get this from here in just a second. I'm going to show the beginning of this, but I recommend watching the rest of it either, because he does debunk some of these conspiracies. So, this guy's name, I can't pronounce his last name. You'll have to forgive me, but no, it's not just because it says doctor, but I listened to the information, and it's really good. So I'm going to give you about the first part of it, and then I'm going to set the link, and you can watch. I recommend watching the full video. Okay.
Hello guys, my name is Dr. Khalid, and today I'm going to be debunking vaccine myths that I see online. But first of all, let's just say a big thank you to our main sponsor today, Pfizer. That's a joke. Don't take that seriously.
Little
The
lag.
commonest one I see is the vaccine gives you COVID, and that's just not true. If we look at this vaccine, it's an mRNA vaccine, so it doesn't have any COVID virus in the vaccine. I think the misconception comes from other types of vaccines in the past where people kind of get a bit confused about it. So you've got inactivated vaccines where you've got inactive forms of a virus or bacteria, or you've got attenuated where you've got a weakened version of a virus in there, and people think, oh, well, that might give you the virus, but that's not how it works. Normally, these give your immune system an ability to fight it off. The COVID is none of these, so it doesn't contain the COVID. Some people, after they have a vaccine, they may get a bit of a temperature, or they may feel a little bit run down, and they think, well, I've had a flu vaccine and it's given me the flu. It's not the case. It's actually your immune reaction which you're experiencing, and that's something we want the body to be ready for the actual virus when it comes into contact with it. I want to indulge on this one. I want you...
Okay, so I'm going to stop from there. I know that's a little jittery. That's because I'm using my phone as a hotspot source. So, basically, in short, now I didn't know this. Like, when I originally thought I was getting the shot, I embraced that, I'm like, I'd rather get a shot and do something to help raise resistance than nothing. So, I was thinking it was one of these two, weakened virus or dead virus. And what this guy is saying, and you can look into it as well, but this is a mRNA, and it does not actually contain COVID. Getting the shot does not give you COVID. Okay, so, and people not getting vaccinated is what's causing mutations like the Delta variation. So, that's all I'm going to leave on here, but I'm going to leave the link, and I recommend watching the whole thing, especially without my, me using this as a hotspot makes it kind of jittery, so, but anyhow, yeah, it's just really problematic, especially when churches are preaching it too. And my intent isn't to insult him, but if he's against vax, then he's just like many, not all, of, like at least pastors locally to where I live are preaching against it. And there's some irony there. I've heard of this since, most of my Christian life, when I was younger, about the end of the world, or, that kind of deal, apocalypse and stuff. They are their own apocalypse. By not getting a vaccine, you are ensuring everybody to get sick. So, that's all I had to share on it, and I hope that helps with any confusion. And, get your COVID shot, so that, they call it COVID shot, but you don't actually have COVID in it, but get your shot so that you can help everybody, not just you.